Hi, this is Daniela, and welcome to Bestie Life, the podcast, where we help you stop burnout now. If you're tired of running on empty, juggling all the things, and wondering when your life is supposed to feel better, you're in the right place. This show is your go-to space for real talk and practical strategies to help you protect your energy, create balance, and actually enjoy the life you're working so hard for. You'll get a mix of solo episodes and honest conversations with guests. My goal is to help you feel less alone, more empowered, and way more in control of your time and energy and well-being. So let's get into it. Hi, this is Daniela with Bestie Life, the podcast. And today I want to talk about something that's so simple, but can be so powerful when it comes to preventing your burnout, building your mental fitness. And it has to do with trying new things. And no, I'm not talking about booking last minute trips to Bali or signing up for trapeze lessons, even though if that's what you want to do, I guess go for it. But I mean, small, doable shifts that wake up your brain and just help you feel better, even when life's feeling a bit mundane or routine or things like that. So grab your favorite beverage, grab something to write with, and let's dive in. So I want to talk to you about the science behind this a little bit for a second, just because I find it so fascinating. But behind the scenes in general, every time you try something new, whether it's taking a different route to work, learning how to make a new recipe, things like that, or practicing some of these new habits that we keep talking about, your brain actually starts building new connections, new neural pathways. It's a process called neuroplasticity, and it's how your brain stays flexible, sharp, and really ready to adapt at the things that life throws at you. So just like you go to the gym and you do your reps to build that muscle in your body physically, you do the reps mentally then by doing some of these new things in order to help build your strength mentally. And, the part of your brain that helps with memory and learning, called the hippocampus, it lights up when you're challenged. They've done brain scans that really show, that activation in your brain when you're trying new things. And the beauty of what happens then in your brain when you're doing these new things, it actually triggers a dopamine release, which is your feel-good chemical in your brain. So many times we might seek out things to create that and not even realize it. Like every time you get a notification on your phone, you're getting a dopamine release. When you set a goal and succeed, you get a dopamine release. When you say connect with someone personally, a friend, things like that, you're getting dopamine releases. And so by releasing that feel-good chemical, even if the action itself doesn't feel like it's huge or perfect or productive, your brain's like, yes, this is good. Let's do more of this. And so that's why sometimes we can get, again, addicted to our phone because we're seeking that dopamine release. When we can substitute more positive things for that are still going to give us that dopamine release, it's going to be a good thing for us because it's going to help us to build that mental fitness, mental resilience that we talk about. Because the thing is, when it comes to our mental wellness and things like that, it's not just about resetting or recharging through taking a break. That's one way to do that, but also by integrating new experiences or new ways of doing some of the things we do on a regular basis. So it's not about necessarily upending your whole routine, changing how you do things, but giving it a new twist is going to help give you that same mental lift, and some ideas of how to do that might just be maybe playing a new playlist when you're getting ready for work in the morning or on a commute, sitting in a different chair at a meeting. I know sometimes, like I park in the same spot at work. Most of my colleagues do as well. We kind of have our location of where we choose to sit in meetings. So if you mix those little things up, that can really help. Doing something creative, even if it's just a doodle on your piece of paper, that little doodle can still spark some of that mental lift. Reading a different genre or book or watching a different type of show, again, is going to stretch your mental limits, as well as just even changing up your routines a little bit by one small step. It could be adding something that you've been meaning to add. It could be, like I said, even just taking a different way to work. Different things like that are going to give you that little kind of ping of freshness, that new dopamine hit to that activity that you've been doing. And it's going to help then increase and help you feel just as satisfied, curious, and mentally awake as the first time you started doing some of these things before they became a habit, before they became so routine that you kind of lost some of that. And so when it comes to how to work this into your already full life, there's some simple steps to help. And it's just similar to building a new habit. We're going to just take your habit that you have and give it a new flavor. And so the first thing you're going to do is pick one small thing to change. Maybe it's what you wear, where you walk, what you listen to, how you're planning your day. Don't overthink it, but pick one small thing. Maybe it's a skirt from the back of your closet you haven't worn in quite some time. I don't know about you, but a lot of times I can get stuck in the routine of wearing very similar looking outfits over and over again. The second part is to stay curious, not necessarily about being perfect. So the whole point isn't to get it right. It's to experience something different. And even if it flops, your brain still benefits. I think I've told this story before. If not, the first time I tried making homemade gnocchi, it was a total disaster. Based on that, I tried 2 more times, and it kind of birthed this whole new family rule that we have, that you get 3 tries at anything new before you have to get it right. And so by allowing that imperfection allows you to actually take more risks. And then the third part is noticing the lift. Pay attention to how you feel after trying that new way to work, that new activity, that new song, all those kind of things. You might feel a little bit more energized, clear, or even just kind of amused by the process of all of it. And that's the dopamine talking at that point. And by acknowledging and recognizing and intentionally noticing it is how you're going to get those, again, micro moments of benefits, micro kind of resets and recharges throughout your day. Even if you felt like, okay, I've already been doing these habits, and we all can get into ruts with them, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but to still help kind of give them some new life, just sometimes even like rearranging your furniture a little bit. It's not about buying new things. It's about taking what you have and seeing it from a different perspective. Now, if you're thinking, I'm already overwhelmed, Dee, I can't add one more thing to my plate. Here's the good news. You're not adding necessarily, you're swapping. You're trading something you do on autopilot for something that's just slightly more awake, slightly more novel. And that's it. It could take 2 minutes. It could take 30 seconds. And that small change is going to help you feel less stuck and more in control over time, and just give you kind of a new refresh to the things that you're already doing. So kind of final thoughts. You don't need a tropical vacation to feel recharged, even though I love those and definitely they're great to do. But we need something fresh and sustainable, like I talk about, on a day-to-day basis, something you can add in on the regular that doesn't have to cost a lot of money or time, and just have the willingness to try them, the willingness to try something new, to do it imperfect, to fail if need be. Your brain's already going to be wired to respond positively just by doing something new when you mix things up a little bit. So let's give it something new. It doesn't have to be big to start making that big impact and big difference in your day-to-day life. If you're not sure where to start with some of this, I understand it's hard when we're stuck in our routines and habits to be able to kind of see the bigger picture of how small but how much impact we can create from a couple of new actions. That's why I love doing free coaching calls, because I love having that opportunity to not only connect with you and get to know you a little bit more personally, but also to be able to help kind of offer some different options, give you some different suggestions that, again, in 30 seconds, 1 minute, you can start to add in and start to create a new momentum, a new benefit to the things you're already doing that are working so well. So if you have any questions, please leave me a comment, reach out below, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you got something out of this episode that really made you feel seen, supported, or just a little bit more grounded. If you have any questions or thoughts, I'd love to hear from you. And if you're up for it, please leave me a 5-star review. That will help more people find the show and join this community. I'll leave you with 2 of my favorite quotes. Alone we may be strong, but together we're stronger. And when we support each other, incredible things happen. So let's keep showing up for ourselves and each other, and maybe even have some fun while we're at it. I'll talk to you soon.